Welcome to the Rachel and Ron Show, featuring fun and deep discussions about the things that affect female entrepreneurs most, as well as tangible tools to grow their business, all the while living their best lives. And now, give it up for your hosts, Rachel and Ron.
How you doing?
Rachel, I gotta tell you, I did not hear the sound on the recording today.
For real?
Yeah, it's a thing. It's on Zoom. It's on the share. Like you gotta press connect sound with the computer. Anyway, but I'm good. How are you?
I did that, so you didn't even hear it.
No, but the best part was watching you rock to it, though. I felt it. I felt the music.
Yeah, I got the beat. Nobody else was hearing it. I'm sorry for you guys.
I know. We lucked out because we got to see you express the beat, and that to me is better. I'd rather watch you express the beat. You can't stop the beat. You were rocking.
Oh my God!
We're both wearing colors today.
One of these days, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the intro and the outro and.
Yeah, when we're shooting live at Mariah's, and it's like a live feed,
Oh my God. I know. I can't wait till we can do that.
I know.
When is this COVID thing going to be over?
Oh, I got an email. It's in, let me see. What's the date today? I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be great if we just knew?
Yeah, I'm looking at my calendar, and there are a couple weeks coming up that would be really great. Yeah.
I personally need it to be done before the Sheer Impact Conference.
Ron, here we are. We're dropping it right now. We're dropping the news.
Ooh.
There is no Sheer Impact Conference this year. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I love the connections that I've been able to make with people over Zoom and really creating this beautiful community throughout the country as a benefit, really, of this new virtual space that we're all hanging out in. Yeah. But I don't want to do an 8-hour conference that way right now. I just don't. I don't want to sit through it. I don't want to ask other people to sit through it. So I'm putting all of my energy and streamlining and just staying so focused on my programs and coaching this year. That's
cool. Mm-hmm. That makes sense too. It was really cool last year. I got a lot out of it, but I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you guys are already virtually. I mean, there's so much going on with it's Real Impact, right?
Well, there's Real Impact. That's my coaching programs, and where I'm really helping women grow their businesses so they can get their consistent 5K months and then their first 5-figure months and so forth. And then Sheer Impact is the community.
Okay.
So that's where we're really hang with each other, support each other. It's like that. It's the sisterhood that we all need.
That's really cool.
I know you've got the sisterhood.
I love the sisterhood, and I've been to the coffee connections, and I love it. And I tell everyone to go, and it's literally I met someone yesterday. I met someone from Israel, and I was like, you got to meet Rachel Lubchansky.
Thank you. I love getting connections in my inbox. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ron, tell me about your weekend.
Oh, I have a lot to tell you about my weekend, but I don't think it's as crazy and awesome as your daughter's having a bat mitzvah. Let's talk about that. I would feel remiss if we didn't start there.
Thank you. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, it's interesting because for years we've been talking about, well, what would their bat mitzvah look like? It's just this big milestone for Jewish girls, and the bar mitzvah happens at 13 for Jewish boys. And the girls and I like to throw a good party, as probably some of our viewers know. And so we had visions of a nice, good, big party. But that wasn't possible. And so we really had to reshape our expectations. And I think that COVID, while it's definitely thrown curveballs and challenges, has really afforded us the opportunity to go back to our roots, to remember and remind us what's meaningful, what's most important. And so this weekend was calm. It was beautiful in that way. So it was simple and really sweet. I helped the girls put on makeup for the first time on Friday night. And we had a couple really lovely meals with friends, and my parents who are vaccinated were able to come over. And, it was just so much more simple. And I think we were able to be much more present as a result of it all. So it was really neat.
That's huge. And like seriously, mazel tov to you and your family. Like, that's so great to hear. And like, I know it was building, and there was a lot of stress around it, like the decisions. And did you ever see the movie Keeping Up with the Steins?
No.
I think that's what it's called. It's with Jeremy Piven. And he plays the same character basically as he did on Entourage, but it's about a bar mitzvah, throwing up a bar mitzvah, and in like LA and like celebrity culture, and like you have to outdo everyone else and stuff. And I feel like that's always what it feels like. And so, but that with a bar mitzvah, especially where it's a coming of age, like every culture has like this like coming of age ceremony for a kid going into teenhood. Like I just feel like it really should be about the family and just about something like organic and communal,
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful thing. It got me thinking, how my mind works. Like I'm always thinking of the connections between life and business and all these things. And as I was saying, I know how to throw a great party, but the thing that caused the stress was actually navigating the technology. And so I got to thinking about what it's like for my clients, and even myself sometimes, of trying to figure out all the things and like leaning into this idea that it doesn't have to be perfect, and there might be a glitch, such as you start your Rachel and Ron show with no audio, something crazy like that.
Or doing the first episode without any audio on my end. So this was fine.
Right. And so I think like I actually felt really grateful that I've been practicing this imperfection in business for so long, because it helped me this weekend. I was just a lot more relaxed, and I wanted it to go smoothly without any glitches. But at the end of the day, it was like, okay, we're figuring it out. And if it happens, it's not a big deal.
I think that's one of the greatest lessons I feel like that you learn when you do theater of any kind, whether it be like, comedy or like straight up being in plays and stuff, is like, whatever you think is going to happen at the first like before the first rehearsal, it's probably not going to happen. Like you just, whatever needs to happen happens. Like, and there's always that, like, you have your expectations, and then the night before it always sucks, and then you go on stage and it's like it's always awesome, or like I feel like that taught me that when you're in front of a live audience, like you just get through it, you just do what you need to do, and that pressure doesn't help, so it's like I love that idea of like subverting expectations, and you just find the joy in it when you're doing it. Like find whatever kind of peace or fun you can have in the moment, because otherwise it's just gonna be such a disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy with the theater as well.
Cool. It felt like a good analogy.
All right, so tell me what's going on with you.
Oh my God,
since last week.
You dropped a big piece of news. I'm going to drop a big piece of news. Big, like a big piece of news. 20-something years in the making. This weekend, I think it was Saturday.
We need like a drum roll. I don't have drum.
There's a big deal. I finally felt comfortable with my passaggio. And that sounds like a euphemism. It's not. It's the passage between the mid voice and the high voice. I finally felt comfortable with my singing voice this weekend.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I've actually been talking to my daughters about this, because as they're singing and they're really developing their like that belty chest voice, and I'm like, okay, baby, we got to start making that transition into the head voice. We were jamming out. It was a couple Saturdays ago, and I was saying that to them, and it's hard. It's hard to get that, like, and you have to figure out like where is that for you. So for each person, it's different. I'm so happy for you, Ron.
Thank you. I'm all grown up, but it's going along with like the notion of like subverting expectations or like being like. So I thought this would happen when I was 15, and I was an awful singer like up until like 30, 31, and I kind of gave up at that point, and then I started doing my comedy show, and I learned to sing through my comedy show. I was doing a Neil Diamond impersonation. I think I talk about this all the time.
Oh, nice.
And so just Neil Diamond taught me to sing, And then I started singing like at comedy shows, and then just being invited to sing as myself with the guitar, and then like played Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar, and then I was like, that's when I like kind of found my real like rock tenor voice, and which is not natural. Like I feel like for a dude to sing high is just not like, it's not intuitive. I almost feel like it's
For some people.
For some people, but like, so for me, it's like my voice is that high. I always wanted to go high, but to justify it to like, anyway, so I'm very excited about this, but it's, you know, I'm 40, almost 41. Like I'll take it. If it happens at 40, if at 45, I wake up and I'm like Josh Groban voice, like, but just higher, like that's
you
fine.
have it made. Hello.
I'm fine. Yeah.
If you wake up as Josh Groban at 45, you have it made. My mom actually, so my mom is a musician as well. And she said that she really came into her best voice, her best quality voice. I think it was in her 30s or 40s. I'll have to ask her. I'm sure she's watching. Hi, Mom. But I too feel like my voice has become more and more rich through the years, even though I'm not using it as much and I don't sing for anybody other than the shower or my family. But yeah, I feel like my voice is much more mature and full. Than it ever was.
Full. Mine got like it's full. It's just, you feel like you have more. I have more of a reason to sing now. You know, like if I'm like really stressed out, I'm like, gotta rock it out.
Oh my God. So here's another business analogy, Ron. It's like everything we talk about, it goes back to business. You're never too old, right? You become your most rich, full, expressive self as we age. And so, hello, let's give a shout out to second act women, right?
Oh yeah.
40s, 50s, 60s, ladies, like this is the time to own it.
Can I share about someone who I work with that had just owned it?
Yeah, let's hear about her.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is the other thing I want to share, but that's perfect timing, perfect setup. So my client, Sherry Hess, do you know Sherry?
I don't. Hi, Sherry. So good to meet you.
Hi, Sherry. Yeah, I need to tag her. She is just lovely. She's just, oh my gosh, she's just awesome. And so we've been working for a year now, almost a year, on her content. And then we just kind of end of last year, beginning of this year, started tapping into a perfect medium for her, which is podcasting. And she has a company called The Flavor Remedy, and she talks about how flavor, actual like real living flavors that is actually the solution to health and eating properly and introducing healthy foods into your life and shifting the way we do agriculture. I mean, she just, like, everything she says, I just so believe in. And she's not a zealot. Like, she's not like, do it this way or you will die. But like, she's very open. And so she has this new podcast that we've been working on, and she just launched it last week, and it's a big deal for me. Like, and a big deal for her. I mean, she just, like, it took her, you know, like, to really feel comfortable and to like put it down, to be like, this is it. This is my work. This is my belief system. This is my voice. Oh my God. So totally. It's like, it, you know, like
that is beautiful.
And she's gone through so many cool evolutions as a I'll say like a cooking artist. So it's just really cool that she just finally like put pen to paper and just like put it out there, you know, like, and she's so charming and so good on camera. And so, yeah, so her podcast is out, The Flavor Remedy, Sherry Hess. You can check her out on Facebook, Sherry Hess, or theflavorremedy.com, I think is the website. It's on LinkedIn, but yeah,
I'm going to check her out.
But it's really cool. She talks about like the different flavors, like that we don't like, bitter being like a healer that we don't always like. Anyways, I don't want to ruin the bit, but like so I'm really proud of her because she's one of those people that like, she just, when she was ready, she just put it out there. She did it, and no shame, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And like, you know, when you've arrived, like, you know, it feels easy. It feels much more comfortable. It feels like you're radiating, like there's this glow, right? And so go for that, people. Go for that.
What a perfect segue to our incredibly brilliant, organized rock star of a guest who I know, like, she has a journey. She has a journey, and like, she didn't start her business when she was 15. Like, she, like, not that she's that old, but like,
I don't know how old she is because she looks so darn good. Let's bring her on. Alycia. Alycia is a friend. She is the founder of Creative PlanHer. She's a virtual assistant helping women entrepreneurs rock it on their day-to-day. Hey, Alycia.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
We're good. We're having a
Alycia,
good
I'm just
time, though.
still, my eyes are adjusting. I'm sorry. It's just so much gorgeousness that comes from your screen. And I'm just like, oh my God. Okay. Adjust. Like, not that I'm not used to it with Rachel, because it's just, I'm saying it's the two of you, it's a lot, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot of pretty. And I'm
Turn
sorry to
the
be the
dimmer
guy.
down.
I'm sorry to be the guy in this situation. Anyway, Alycia, so Alycia, I'm just going to dive right in if that's okay, Rachel. Because
Okay.
You do it.
So Alycia, like, did you like? So we're just kind of talking about like better late than never in a way. Like, did you always know that you wanted to create your own VA business? Because it's such a necessary thing. Was this like always the path?
Not at all. So I worked in healthcare for probably not probably, I worked in healthcare for the last 14 years. And then after we got pregnant with the caboose, is what we call him, little Cameron, I just knew that I couldn't go back to corporate. I couldn't go back to 9 to 5, chained to a desk, never having any paid time off because somebody's always sick or this, that, or the other. And I just thought, you got to go, you got to jump so that you can be present and spend time with, who's important to you. So it was kind of a shooting from the hip thing, and probably one of the best things I've ever done, for sure.
Was it within shooting from the hip? Was there any kind of guiding light or guiding like principle that propelled you forward? Because well, you told us today that you are like almost at capacity after last year, where it was like you were still ramping up. Like I'm just blown away. So like, was there a guiding force for you?
Um, I mean, I think that the guiding force was like I had been in support roles before, so I knew that that was a skill that could easily translate over. Um, and I was like, well, you kind of know how to do it, so just do that. I mean, it was the only thing that really made sense in terms of I could make money doing this, and they're not going to ask me, how much experience do you have with ABC? Because, it's all relative. So, yeah, other than kicking and screaming, thinking about going back to work, that was the only other guiding force.
I think this is interesting because a lot of people feel like they have to have some deep passion in order to launch their business. And you kind of said like, hey, what am I really good at? And what will people pay me for? And I love that. It's so simple and it's a great way to launch. And then you can hone it. Like then you can go back and say, okay, well, what parts of this do I really love? What really feeds me? Who are the kinds of people or the kinds of businesses that I really want to be working for? And then you can tweak it, but you don't have to have this big, grand, lifelong passion.
Right.
Because Rachel, isn't that sorry, three questions at once. Isn't that a big piece that plays into this idea of creating a business later, right? Where you go like, let's say you've been in corporate, let's say you've been in a job like Alycia, right? Where you've done the thing. It was I don't know how you got into healthcare in the first place, but let's say maybe it was an opportunity that came up, maybe you fell into it, maybe it was a decision, and then it kind of was like, oh my God, I'm burning out, this is awful. But then I think I meet a lot of women that then it goes, well, I don't know what I'm really passionate about. Like, I don't know because there's this perception, like you said, Rachel, which was gorgeous, like where I have to do this fiery thing. And it's like, no, if you see an opportunity and you see a niche in the market that could be filled, like, right, like just create.
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, and that's one thing we were talking about right before the show with Alycia is that it is so empowering to know that you can just go out and create this. Like you can create your own success. You create your next client. Alycia was telling us like she only has one spot left for March and she has some consult calls coming up. But like if any of you out there want to be her client, and let me tell you, I've been her client, you want to be her client, like that is the most amazing thing to get to that point where you don't have to wait for somebody else to validate you. You are fully empowered in this space to go out and let me go find my next client, right? And fill your own schedule that way. So she's doing it.
It's huge. Alycia, do you feel like now that you're in the groove, do you feel like, is there more of a passion for it? Like, not that you're not passionate, I mean, you're clearly very passionate about it, but do you feel like now that you're in it, you're like, no, I really do love this. Like, I love the work-life balance. I love helping clients. Like,
yeah, I certainly have a passion for it now that I've and I wouldn't say that I've mastered creating the life that I want with the work-life balance yet. I'm still working on that. And my husband would probably agree. Hi, husband, if you're watching. But I definitely have a passion for, kind of seeing and identifying some pain points for my clients, right? Of like, how can I help you get to that point where you have more of, maybe it's not even a work-life balance, right? Maybe it's just a work balance of how much time are you spending on these things where you could be really doing more client-facing stuff, or doing your own sales calls, attracting your clients that you need. So um, you know, throughout the last, 18 months, I have really, like, I just have a brand new perspective. Right now, it's more than just launching a business. It's like, what is my business, and
Yeah.
how do I communicate that to other people? How do I articulate why you want me on your team? How do I articulate um, the value that I would bring?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at now, is just really focusing on that, honing in on that, and owning that piece.
It's huge. I mean, it's so funny, like the value you bring. I'm like, I'm looking at your gorgeous backdrop, like how organized everything is behind you. I'm like, no, that's the value. Like, just
I just did that before we got on the call, by the way.
No, you didn't. I've seen your office before, and it always looks glamorous. Yeah, I also like this point that you just made, that like you didn't figure out all the things as you were launching. So you were just saying how you've been in business 18 months, and now you're going back and kind of really thinking even more intentionally about, well, what do you want this message to be? How do you want it to look? What do you want to convey to people? Who are you really looking to attract? And I see it coming through so clearly, like in your email marketing, which is so strong. You're a fantastic, beautiful, expressive writer. And I think that that's just such a great point, because a lot of people feel like first is that passion, and then second is having all their ducks in a row. And you just don't have to have all your ducks in a row. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, as a mompreneur, what are some of your biggest challenges right now?
It is that balance, right? It is that, um, we have four at home, three of which are in school, still all remote learning, and just trying to find time to fit it all in and then be present after a certain time in the evening, right? And so I'm really trying to get better at protecting my time outside of, office hours. But I struggle because I spend the office hours working on everything for clients, and then it's like, but my business still needs love too. So just trying to figure out how to make it all work, where it's not the same as going to corporate, right? Where I'm here until 5. It's like, nope, I can be done, have dinner, and I don't have to come back to the office and finish a few things. And so that's probably the biggest challenge, is just the balance. And I feel like as I really get processes and my own workflows in place and identify like how much time do I really have, that will eventually kind of like smooth and sort itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is, I have to share this. So I've been feeling like a horrible dad. I just have to put this out there. That what you said is like being present after you clock out, right? And so easy to be like, oh, I really have to respond to this email or a prospect or something, And it's like my daughter's amazing, and I in our situation, like I see her every other day. Yeah. So like she's with me Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then Sundays, and then or every other Friday. But I just feel like, oh, like now, like with and how intense everything is it's really hard for me to transition after talking all day on a high level, like helping people like figure out their wants and all these things, and then you go mermaids and unicorns and right. No, that's right, babe. Yeah. Mermaids and unicorn. Like it's so hard to, right. And you have that times 4. I feel horrible about it. Like, how do you feeling about it? Like right now, where we're all together all the time. There's never enough time to play. Like, oh,
Yeah, I don't. So I have like, it's kind of split, right? So I have a 17-year-old, and then 11, 9, and then Cameron just turned 2. So older 3 are kind of like what's for dinner? They don't really need much of me anymore. And Cameron is still, just young and can play. I think the struggle is more like connecting with my spouse on those other levels, right? Of like, we're just trying to find time to talk more about just work, or like you're saying, you're hanging out, you're doing whatever, and an email comes through or a text or something, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm going to be in this moment, or because he's also building a business, he's in real estate, and so we both are very much like on the hustle bustle, on the grind all the time, and so
Yeah.
it's being present for each other, and just trying to disconnect. We have to get to a space where we're both disconnecting from work stuff and be family stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we literally put dates on our calendar. I also have even a calendar notification that pops up every single day from, it's either 4 or 4:30 to 8. And it's literally in all caps, it says family time. Right. And so during that time, and I'm not perfect at this, and I know if Adam watches this, that he will tell all of you that I'm really not perfect at it. But what I'm working at is not checking my email during that time, like not even picking up the phone during that time, right? So it's a journey, but I think for sure, like, and it doesn't have to be 3.5 hours, but carving out that time, even if it starts as 20 minutes, right? Like, this is our 20 minutes. Do we want to watch comedy together, take a walk around the block, enjoy a glass of wine, a bowl of ice cream? Like, what are we going to do, right? But it's like, until we say yes to ourselves and make that commitment, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, we're all working at that.
It is a lot of just like mindset, right? Like making the shift from working for somebody else in corporate to yourself. It's still very much, and I am so guilty of this, it's still very much like go 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 go, because if you don't, then somebody else is gonna get the opportunity and somebody else will. And so it's so much of just like, I'm gonna do it right now so they see that I'm efficient and they see that I'm responsive and this, that, or the other, when it's like, they don't care if you're responding at 7 at night. They're not going to look at it until the morning. So you don't have to either. And it's really just working on that mindset shift. And I'm working on it. I have a lot of work to do, but it's there. I'm working on it.
You said something like really resonates. Like I struggled for so many years, and I'm sure I know a lot of people that have as well, and especially that struggle to figure out what your jam is, what your zone of genius is. So whether you're like employed for someone else full time and you're just like grinding, just like doing whatever you're told, and you're miserable at it, or miserable in it, or you're starting your thing and it takes a while to take off. I always feel that, like, I get that, like you said, like, if I don't email back, they're going to go with someone else. Like, I always have that mentality where I'm just so grateful for any opportunity that comes my way. Where I'm just like, oh my God, I got to email them right back. Like, I'm so grateful that they approached me even. Like, I had someone, and this is like the ideal, like someone see one of my videos that I posted and get on my Calendly. And I was like, oh my God, I was with my dog, I was like, oh, who is this person? And then I'm looking them up on Facebook, and like, I fully felt like such, again, not a present dad, because like the ideal setting where someone sees some, content, and they take the initiative, and they don't even, like, you don't even have to sell them anything, but to the point that I feel you on that, where you're like there's that intensity and that feeling, and it takes a lot of power
it's about developing that belief that the right people are going to come your way, and
that they'd be okay with.
Alycia, it is all mindset. Yeah. And I've spoken with a lot of people who are coming out of corporate, and they just completely have to shift their mindset. Like, it's just such a different way of operating. I have a new client that signed on to work with me in my Real Momentum VIP program last week, and she was on a group call, and I think she said something about having to do things because that's what other people in her industry were doing, right? Or how they were doing, or whatever it was. And I think we said something to her like, wait, but you could actually do this your way. And she was like total mind blown. Like, what? I could do this my way? Yes, you can own this, but that is such a different way of thinking than we're led to like, it's a different mindset than we're led to develop in a corporate environment, which is, I shouldn't even say, because I haven't worked in corporate, more than, for 5 minutes. And so that work alone, yeah, that takes a lot of intentionality.
And within that too, within that switch, Alycia, was there for you a learning curve, going from corporate admin work to working with entrepreneurs? Like, is there a difference in terms of how our entrepreneurs organize their back office and just organize their businesses, like in general?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And some are better than others. When you run a one person show, you don't really need, or you don't think you need, like your office procedures and like how things are done. And so, when you work in corporate, you get a full blown like new hire orientation, and you have all of the things and the resources and this, that, or the other. And in this space, there's not always that, right? And so that can be challenging at times. Um, you asked me, what is different from corporate to this space. And for me, it goes back to the mindset, but it's also the boundary setting, right? Like in corporate, if your boss asks you or tells you or whatever, like everything is set for you. And don't say that, no, I'm not going to do it, or I don't really like doing that, I'm not, like give that to somebody else. Where in this space, I can create my own preferences, right? I can say to a client, if they're like, oh, and can we add this? I can say, no, I don't want to add that. I don't like do, in the nicest way possible. So
Right.
That again is something that I do struggle with now, and I'm working on it. And it's definitely on a post-it of like, set those boundaries. You don't have to do all of these things anymore. You can say, this is my niche. This is what's going to be in our contract, and that's what's going to be done. I don't being your assistant doesn't mean the same thing when you're doing it in this space.
Yeah.
It's so huge. Like this idea of like, and Rachel, I know you've like probably so much experience in this too. And we talked about this, that like power as a solopreneur or entrepreneur, like to say, that's not my zone of genius. Like I learned that the hard way, that it's actually, it sounds hard. Like I think when you're starting off, it sounds like, oh my God, how would I say no? Again, I'm so grateful for any opportunity. I learned it the hard way with one of my favorite clients ever. We're doing public speaking stuff. And she was like, hey, I have this video idea that I want to do. I need a video for this reason. And she's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, sure, I love you. Why not? Like, it's great. And she's like, okay, but there's some challenges here. And I just did not listen. And I was like, oh, that's fine. And we had like a rough weekend. And it was, and then we weren't, I mean, we never like yelled at each other or anything, but we worked it out. We were grown-ups about it. And then it was just like, okay, let's just stay with what we're good at. And that was in 2018. Like since then, I've been like with some clients, I'm like, I'm not going to do your video. I will work with you on every other thing. I'm just not going to do that piece because I'm not a good fit for you in that department. And we're just not going to play well, and because you have different needs, or versus, and I still like, or the other way, I'll just do video with you. I won't do coaching. And that's like, there's no shame because your zone of genius, right? Like, and it just makes their life easier. I've had clients say thank you. Like someone a few weeks ago, she's like, thank you for saying that. I wasn't feeling video, I was feeling coaching, or,
Yeah. And that's where business is easier. Again,
Right.
It's going back to like, this should be easy, right? So how can we make it easier for ourselves? And definitely staying in your zone of genius is one of those ways, right? Because if we have to reinvent the wheel, learn a new skill, like for one client, that doesn't really pay off in any regard for the client, for us, for our bottom line, anything.
Unless, of course, I always have to shout this out. Unless, of course, you're Carrie Ben Joseph and you're like, oh, this client wants me to learn something new. And then she'll like spend like a day just like analyzing it. And then she's an expert by like dinner, and then it's like, and then 10 people pay her like to do it. So I'm just saying that is some resentment right there, Carrie, if you're watching. That is full on jealousy of your genius, whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Alycia, tell us, I mean, you've worked with a bunch of entrepreneurs now in your 18 months of business. What are like the top 3 systems you think people should focus on creating in their business as a solopreneur, like they're just getting started?
I definitely think it's a process, right? Regardless of what it is, I think it's very important to document like how you do what you do. just because there's so many reasons why I could say that. I mean, for me as serving the clients, I need to know that. I need to know that in order to do my job, whether that's, you know, coordinating your social media or email campaigns. Like I need to know why you do what you do, how you do what you do. And then the other thing is just certain tools, like having a project management system, and maybe you're not using it to manage projects, but to just document all of the tasks that you do on a daily basis, weekly basis, is super helpful. And then, you know, setting up a block schedule, setting up designated times to do certain things is like super helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Those are such good little nuggets of advice. So people who are getting started can focus their efforts, because I think that's what happens, is that people start to feel really frazzled, like they are hustling. And so they're like, well, I don't have time for that. But writing out your processes, like how you do what you do, and that time blocking piece. And what was the third one you said?
Just using a tool or something for all of your tasks, all of your to-dos. So it can be a project management system. It can be a Google Sheet or something, but somewhere to know, like, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes, but you have to have it somewhere.
Right. So good.
Oh, then I have to ask this. Alycia, are you the one, or was it Rachel? Who did Rachel's Google? Like, who did Rachel's Google, like Docs and Sheets and like her whole Google world? Was that both of you together? Oh, no. Okay. Then it was all you. Okay.
I did that before I met Alycia.
Okay. So okay, I was like, I wonder if that's okay then.
Yeah. But I just have to say it again. Like, working with Alycia is such a delight, because she's not just like, she doesn't just show up for her job, right? Like, just to like deliver her service. She also sends like love notes, like little texts, happy hump day and happy Friday, and I hope you had a great week, or happy Monday. Like, that to me, that's the kind of person I love working with. So I know that you are almost full for your schedule in this first quarter. And I'm so happy for you that your business is flourishing and you're doing so well on your own terms. And we can't wait to see what's next from you.
That's awesome, Alycia.
Thank you guys for having me today.
Thanks for being
here. All right, we'll chat with you soon.
Bye, Alycia.
Okay. Bye.
She's awesome.
She's so great.
I know. I think we're just like, she's great.
She is great. No, she's really a doll. Like, she's so easy to work with, and she's so committed. And, you know, I've had these conversations with her offline about this adjustment from the corporate world to the entrepreneurial world. And it's really a thing.
It's huge.
And yeah. So she spent a lot of time like intentionally just thinking about that and journaling on that and figuring that out. And that's what it takes. And also immersing yourself in this new culture, right? In the entrepreneurial culture with this sisterhood of support and that we often talk about. That is critical, because then you start to also like hear the same things from those around you and get their encouragement to leap, right? To take those jumps, to step out of your comfort zone and to start trying things, which is hard to do on your own and much, much easier to do with that network around you.
Yeah. And she did it on her own, man. Like I said, like I spoke to her, I think March or April last year. And like what she has created in this past, COVID year, isn't like, it's astounding, all on her own. So that's power right there. That's legit.
Yeah. I'm excited. Well, she's working with me now in my VIP coaching program, and I'm excited to just kind of see how she continues to soar.
I totally botched that question. I thought you guys worked together on the Google thing, and then it just got weird because your Google stuff is so gorgeous. Like how you have your organization, like folders and files for each client, like it's stunning. And so I was like, I saw both of you be like, that's just irrelevant. I was like,
yeah. That's all right. It was just one of those awkward Ron moments. No big deal.
I know. They have.
You know what? It's just, it's not a problem. Not a big deal at all.
That's why it's a show. It's entertaining.
Yeah, totally.
Ron, those awkward Ron moments, that's a thing.
Yeah, we'll actually come up with even a name for it. Let's do that this week.
There's been more?
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, totally.
I'm like not shocked, but like a
But
little
it's
shocked.
part of your charm. Everybody loves you. You're part of the girl gang.
I know.
And yeah, all
I
good
love it.
stuff.
My client Jojo says, like she'll literally say it in a conversation. She's like, look, between us girls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know.
Okay, well, we've got some other great guests lined up. I can't remember if it's KBJ next week or
I think it's Natalie Gentry.
is it Natalie? I'm
Yeah.
excited. Okay, because I don't know Natalie, so I'm looking forward to that
Yeah.
conversation.
She's super cool. Both of them are cool, but like Natalie, like yeah, Natalie's just like her energy, like oh my god, like it'll be a wake up. Like we'll be like okay, hey, like she gets in it. Yeah, so she's
That's
awesome.
great.
All right,
Cool.
we'll take it away, Rachel.
All right, thanks, Ron. It was so good to see you.
So good to see you too, Rachel. Here we go.